Hello. Today we're going to talk about some blocking terms. Now remember, blocking is any time a performer moves on stage. This is blocking. This, blocking. Even if a performer sits or stands or leans, blocking. Now, the smaller bits of blocking, playing with a pencil, pouring a drink, flipping through a newspaper, that's called business. Business is the little bits of blocking that performers normally do with their hands, or maybe just bobbing their feet. That's business. But any movement a performer does on stage is blocking. Now, there's a couple of terms for blocking that you'll really want to know. The first is called a cross. C-R-O-S-S, cross. To cross means to go from one point on stage to another point on stage. So if this is my stage and I am upstage center, I might cross to downstage center. I cross to downstage center. Now that I'm at downstage center, I might cross to center stage left. Now I'm at center stage left. So a cross is any time a performer moves from one area of the stage to another area of the stage. Now sometimes you'll have multiple performers on stage, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're all moving at the same time. Well, if you have 2 people on stage or more, and one person crosses from one side of the stage to the other, and person 2 does the opposite, that's called a counter cross. So, person A goes this way, and person B goes this way. Counter cross. Most of the time, directors have performers do counter crosses to even out the stage picture. If you have 3 people over here and only one person over here, it's going to seem imbalanced. There's going to be more people on this side, which makes this side of the stage seem heavier or like it has more going on. So, if a performer goes to one side of the stage and the director thinks that it makes the stage look imbalanced, they might have another performer go to the opposite side of the stage in a counter cross. The next term I want to talk about is the direction that a performer is facing. All right? So if you have a performer and they're standing towards either stage right or stage left, here I'm standing on stage right, and they're facing towards the center of the stage, this is called facing into the stage, or being turned in to the stage. If you have a performer a little more towards the middle of the stage, and they are facing towards one of the wings, either that wing or that wing, that performer is facing out, or turned out for the stage. To turn in means that you are facing towards the center of the stage. To turn out or to face out means that you're facing away from the center of the stage. It's not just with the stage though. This is one of those theater terms that can have multiple meanings. It can mean more than one thing. That's the first meaning of facing in or facing out, is are they looking towards the center of the stage or away from the center of the stage? The second meaning can be if they're in a duet or if they're in with another group of performers. So a duet is when there's 2 performers on stage, and then you have a scene if there's more than 2. If a performer is facing in to another person or another 2 people, they're facing in, they're facing towards them. And it doesn't matter what part of the stage they're on or which way they're looking. Both performers could be downstage right. if I'm the downstage right performer and I'm facing away from center stage, but I'm talking to someone else that's standing right here facing me, then we are both facing in to each other. So there's facing into the stage, and then there's facing into another performer. If there's two performers and I turn away from the other performer, who's now standing behind me, I'm facing out from that performer. Facing out from the stage, facing out from another performer. So that's the second main bit of blocking. Where are you at? Where are you standing? Which direction are you moving or crossing to? Are there two performers that are going in opposite directions? And if so, that's a counter cross. And are you facing in or out from the stage? And are you facing in or out from the other performers on the stage? Those are your main points. Another point are levels. So, say there's a chair. I have a chair here now. A performer standing next to the chair is going to be taller than a performer sitting in the chair. The person standing would be at a higher level than the person sitting. Likewise, if you have someone standing on a ladder, they are at a higher level than the person standing or the person sitting. It's all about levels. Now, sometimes set designers create levels. They might have a little platform that other performers can stand on. They might have stairs that performers can come down. Now, if a performer is on the stairs, they'll be higher than the other performers. Levels are important because the people who are higher generally get more attention from the audience than the ones that are at a lower level. Somebody standing on a platform is going to get more attention from the audience than someone standing next to the platform. This idea of the audience paying particular attention to one performer or another performer is really important in theater. Sometimes the audience is paying attention to the wrong performer. If there's a performer doing a monologue, which means a long speech, and the audience is supposed to be paying attention to them, but you have another performer over here doing some bit of business, right, moving, or blocking, doing some blocking, the audience is going to pay attention to the performer that's moving, not the performer who's speaking. And that's who they should be paying attention to. When that happens, it means that the performer that's moving around and doing stuff is upstaging the performer who's doing the monologue. Any time one performer takes attention away from another performer when the audience is supposed to be paying attention to them is called upstaging. And it happens all the time. Most of the time, performers don't realize they're upstaging. They just are acting and they're doing what they're supposed to do. But they do it in a bigger way than what's necessary, right? They call attention to themselves when they don't need to. If you're on stage and you're performing, think about who's the audience supposed to be paying attention to. Is it me right now? And if it's not, maybe tone down whatever you're doing just a little bit, just to make sure the audience is paying attention to the person they're supposed to be paying attention to. All right, let's revisit. We have blocking. Any movement a performer does on stage. Business, the small, little movements performers do. Reading a newspaper, stirring coffee, things like that. We have crossing. That's physically moving from one part of the stage to another part of the stage. You can walk, run, skip, dance. As long as you're moving from one part of the stage to the other part of the stage, you are crossing. We have counter crossing, which is when two performers move at the same time in opposite directions. We have levels. Height-wise, where are performers in relation to other performers and to the set? And we have upstaging, taking attention away from other performers by moving or talking or doing things that draw the audience's eye away from where it should be. If you have any questions about what we learned today, please let me know. I always enjoy hearing from you. And until then, happy acting.